Ouch! Now this is dramatic.
That's not something we can do anything about. Right, onwards. Fairly sure we found the problem. That is incredible, is it not? Poor thing. So I said our pastern was swollen, and obviously, my jeez, oh. And obviously that is why it's been swollen. We just follow this back to its culmination. It must be a huge... It's just incredible. Okay, so we're just going to leave that for a second. We're grabbing the grinder here in an effort to flatten off the interior or medial claw so that we can stick a block on it. We're literally only taking a very minimal amount of weight to get this claw up off the ground. This isn't a case...
We'll zoom in and give you a good look at that once we get this block on. I put some glue on the side of that hoof as well before I put that block on. You'll see why when I put this foot down. Here you can get a good look at those two areas. That one up above, I've still got some more work to do on that yet. I put that block on now just to give it more time to set. When the temperatures are colder, it takes more time for that block glue to cure. So I can do that now. I know that block's not gonna get in my way as I trim, so it's okay to put it on right now. Once we get this trimmed out, you're gonna see there's still more stuff up inside there. Once again, by cleaning at the beginning is not gonna get that clean. It's hard to fully appreciate on camera, but what's happening is that dermatitis is actually raised off of that corium. So when you see me working carefully, trying to lift these areas up as I make that cut, it's so I don't get into that dermatitis that's underneath there. It's not perfectly flat, so I have to work carefully to get that done. Another question I get all the time is why do you dab this dry before you put the salicylic acid on? Wouldn't it stick better if it was wet? And it may stick better, but what I don't want to have happen is that chlorhexidine to actually create a barrier for that salicylic acid to reach the lesion itself. The chlorhexidine does a good job at killing those surface bacteria, but it's the salicylic acid that gets inside there that really gets those bacteria that are further in. So I don't want there to be any chlorhexidine there when I apply that so that salicylic acid can do its job. We'll get the salicylic acid wrap in place, and then you'll see, even when she's done with her trim, she's still fussing. Then we'll let her go, check out, and see how she's walking. Here you can see how adding that glue just adds more surface area for it to bind to. You're all done. You're all done. You're fine. And that's going to do it. If I don't see you before Christmas, enjoy the holidays, Merry Christmas, and we will see you all on the next one.
First, I still can't quite get over just how much liquid came out of this. Absolutely incredible. And as you can see, there's actually still some in there. You can hear it more than see it. Now we're not going to take this all the way down to the bottom of the hole, because if we did, we'd be opening our foot up massively, because this must be such a huge cavity. But we are going to make sure that every bit of that infection can get out easily.
I really didn't expect it to go down that far, but we got there. We got it all cleaned out. You'll notice there's a few edges there. That's real soft new hoof horn formation. I don't like messing with that. That's going to firm up on its own. You don't really need to do any trimming with that. Just leave it in place and it will turn into nice hard horn over time. We'll get this hoof all wrapped up and then we'll let her saunter away. You can see once we got that block on, there's almost no pain there for her whatsoever. And then we're going to move on to that cow from last visit. and see how she's doing now.
Off as we possibly can, because I can see that it actually travels down the sole. Yep, look at that. Just gonna tease my knife in here. Try to lift it away from the corium. This is the part where things can go wrong very, very quickly. I'm gonna put the back of my knife underneath there and try and lift this away. That didn't go very well. Round in a circle and down and lift away. Okay, look at this. If we lift this up, look at that. We're just gonna need to snip this off as gently as we possibly can. Obviously this is just hoof horn, not anything else. I mean, look at that. Just look at that. That is just colossal, isn't it? We're not going to do anything else to this at all. This will obviously need to be revisited in 2 weeks' time. But actually, I'm really happy with how that's gone. No wonder so much fluid came out of that. That cavity is absolutely huge. We're going to spray this down with iodine to make sure we kill any kind of infection that's on the surface there.
Particular farm, this is one we go to every 6-8 weeks or so. This is the same farm where we had this cow a while back. Well, we're going to follow up on that as soon as we're done here. But as I was saying, typically these problems are going to be on the lateral claw, and it's typically due to the concussive forces of the foot making contact with the concrete floor. But these cows, they're out on pasture most of the time, so that makes this an even more uncommon issue. Now, the one thing that pasture cattle do have to contend with that house cattle don't is that they may have the opportunity to step on a rock out in the field, whereas a house cow likely wouldn't do that. That, too, could have caused this perforation. We'll really never know, but we're going to treat this much the same way that we would if it were on the lateral. The barns were really nice and quiet. Here you can see that pink coloration. That's a sign to tell me that we're starting to get a little thin there, so we're not going to go much further there. We do have some separation down below that we're going to work out. We're going to take that all the way as far as we can. But first, let's get a block on that other claw. It gets a little tricky working around these edges. You just got to take your time and follow that separation down as far as it leads.